In this video, what's umami, how to recognize the different grades of Japanese green tea, and a third thing that you will discover in a moment. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go! This is nannuoshan, I'm Gabriele.
And I'm Anja.
Today we discuss umami, these, can we say, very strange taste that no one really can grasp.
I would totally agree with that.
And the best way to understand umami is to taste or to drink something umami rich.
Makes sense.
So here I have a gyokuro, the first tea we drink today. 4 grams of it, quite a bit. I will brew it in a special way, it's not very common. I made a video all about this brewing technique, if you're curious, but I will also go step by step and explain it today. Only 40 degrees centigrade water in the kettle, very low, because this is particularly important to get out most of the umami. If you go too much up with the temperature, strange things happen, we will look at them in a moment. I will pour it just a little bit of water, just maybe 1 millimeter on top of the leaves and close it. This will brew there for quite a bit, and in the meantime we speak about umami. And I would say, let's start, Anja, share with the world what's umami for you.
What's umami for me? Well, very good question, because it took me so long actually to even know that there was something like umami. I was like 20 years old when I discovered there was also umami, and I was like, what is that?
So the answer is, now that you discover it?
It's very difficult, and it is associated with some foods, and I think they're all very different. But usually, the adjective that comes with it is it's rich. It's very rich in flavor.
Yeah. So, but if you say it's very rich in flavor, it's like, okay, but what flavors, right? That's a little bit the question. And in fact, we could just start saying that umami is one of the 5 basic tastes. So we have sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami. What does it mean being a basic taste? It means that each one of these actually attach to certain receptor in our mouth. So like there is the salty food that attach to a certain salty receptor in your mouth and activate to your brain, oh, that's salty. Well, the same thing happened for umami. So it was discovered that something that is umami, let's speak in a moment what that is actually activating specific receptors that are different from the other 4 types of taste. And to be more specific, it is an amino acid in the food, or in the tea in this case, that attach to those receptors, and it's called glutamate. It's very common in Asian cuisine, right, where they use it even pure. In the Western, not so much, but there are several foods that are actually glutamate rich and that are associated with umami. And let's start drinking this shot of gyokuro. As you see, it's very, very little quantity. How does it smell?
It's very intense and very fresh.
Wow. It's like an explosion in your mouth, right? It's very deep. And it has a characteristic seaweed flavor, right?
I agree.
And seaweed is the type of flavor, it's like an association we make, but as a matter of fact, seaweed is really rich in glutamate, in those amino acid, that amino acid that I was mentioning before. And so it's proper to associate actually Japanese tea with seaweed and consequently with umami. Now, sometime I heard that it's what is the taste of umami, right? If something salty, it tastes like salt, it's clear. But I would argue that's not the case, right? The five basic tastes, it just gives you direction. For example, if you take lemon juice and vinegar, they are both very sour. Yeah, so that they have in common, but they have different tastes. One tastes like lemon, the other tastes like wineish vinegar. So you cannot say they have the same taste, but they have a basic taste in common, which is sourness. So in a similar fashion, umami is, my understanding of umami is not really a specific taste. It's more what have in common different food, different brews, different drinks that are umami rich. And they bring this additional depth, this additional complexity. Umami is also making your whole food experience fuller. Yeah, it's even enhancing a little bit other taste in a way. And I think it is this enrichment of complexity that one has to search in umami. 50 degrees, so now I'm doing the same as before, but I will pull just a tiny bit of water just to fool the leaves like a sponge, and that's it, no more than that. So started for 40 degrees, now we are just at 50 and we see how it evolves. So yeah, you have to see umami really like an enhancer in a way. And by the way, I have another interesting example. We usually say, yeah, but glutamate is only used in the Asian cuisine, right? Like soya sauce, for example, or well, seaweed, Japanese food. Sure, agreed. But it's also present in the West. It's just that we don't explicitly call it so. But if we don't go very far, at least for me, and we stick to Italy, and you think of Italian cuisine, no one in Italy would ever say, oh yes, we use glutamate. But two basic ingredients of the Italian cuisine are actually rich in glutamate, and the reason why we use them is exactly that, taste enhancer. One is tomato sauce. Most of the pasta have tomato sauce. It doesn't matter what you put along with it, because tomato enhances the overall experience. And the other one is what comes on top. Mature cheese, like Parmesan, is also rich in glutamate. And both play the role of enhancing the whole food experience around the pasta. In fact, when you eat pasta without tomato sauce and without cheese, something is missing, right? To me. And here we go with our second shot. This is a little bit a different way of doing shot than the one that was explained by Sigi. Here there are a lot of leaves and very little water. So it's not a grandpa shot here. And the next step would be go one level up to 60 degrees, and then one level up to 70, and so on. But first of all, let's drink these.
Thank you.
Because this is even almost salty to me. It's savory. It's a savory experience. Do you find it bitter?
Maybe at the end a little bit.
Tiny bit in the aftertaste? Because we come now to the second aspect of this video, and I told you it is two more aspects. One she knows, the other one she doesn't know. And well, let's do like this. For the next chapter, we have to brew the next tea, a high-grade sencha. It is very different in color. Well, not so much actually with respect to the previous one. It's kind of similar, still quite dark. But the critical aspect in the processing, or actually in the growth of the plants, is missing. Gyokuro plants are shaded for the past few weeks before the harvest. And this enhances the production of that amino acid. So here for sencha, in fact, you usually don't brew it according to the method that I've done it before, for reason that we'll see in a moment. But just to stick and for the comparison, we're gonna do that. And we put again just a tiny bit of water at, now it's 45 degrees. Also before was a little bit above 40, and we brew it for a little while. Because the next question we want to understand is the evolution in taste between different types or different grades of Japanese tea. Gyokuro, sencha, and let's see what's next. Moreover, you have to know that although maybe Anja looks like being quiet and doesn't say much unless when she pretend be a tea master, she's quite tough. So like the whole winter long, at least once a week, she go and jump in the Limmat, which is a river in Zurich. You did it today, it was 7 degrees the water.
7.4.
To be precise, 7.4 degrees. She just jump in, have a little swim, freezing water, and comes out, and that's it. But she's also tough when it comes to food. For example, she's used to drink pure lemon juice in the morning for breakfast, all right? So extremely sour. It seems there is no limit. It doesn't matter how cold the water is or how sour the lemon is. And so I really would like to understand today if Anja has any limit in bitterness. Okay. And we will start with the first shot of sencha that we want to compare with the gyokuro. You remember the taste of the first one before?
Yes.
So, any difference?
So I would say it's milder. It's less liquid.
It's more solid? No, it's more.
No, it's not. It's not solid, but it's like there is something on your tongue. No.
Mm-hmm. But I think with the fact that it is, as you say, lighter and whole way, it hits the spot because it feels a little bit of that depth and complexity that we had before. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will do in a moment a next step with a bit higher temperature, and we'll see how that comes. But basically, to identify umami, you have to gain that thick and depth and complex experience. And if you taste this tea alone, it still has some umami. So you might consider it a good example of umami. But actually, if you drink it after a gyokuro, then it's a different story. Yeah. And for now, in terms of bitterness, we have to see how also that evolves. Because on one side, you have the umami level goes down. But especially now that we go for 50 degrees, and if you go then further up, is also the bitterness coming out. This is one of the reasons why you want to brew gyokuro at low temperature, to even enhance more the characteristic of the tea, which is richness in umami. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then I have a third tea to really check bitterness thresholds.
Well, so far you haven't challenged me really.
Yeah, no, so far it's easy for you. Seems so. Well, I'm really curious about to see what do you think about the next tea. The color is still very vibrant and green, very nice. And you see, you can barely see water inside because it's all absorbed by the leaves. And now it's interesting also to look at the color of the brew. It's a very glooming green, very intense. Now I push a bit higher the temperature. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's still really nice. It's more intense than before.
Yeah. Those 10 degrees helps. Yeah. And I would say what we would like here to taste is also the next one. The next one is, it was given to me as a present, so I hope the guy's not watching. And it is a guy from Japan that brought it, very proud of this tea, was bringing me a sencha and so on, but as a matter of fact, yeah, I even don't know if it is a sencha actually, yeah. So let's maybe switch to that one, yeah, before here the sun set completely, and have a look. So let's call it a low-grade sencha, although I might even argue that it is a bancha rather than a sencha. And they're just cleaning it a little bit. We will brew it a little bit at a higher temperature, just to skip a few steps and check if Anja has any threshold about bitterness. The tea looks like that, so you see that the color is more dull, is flat, is not so vibrant as the two teas we had before. It was really intense, intense green.
Yeah.
This is like dead leaves. But we will do also for this sencha slash bancha the same treatment. I have, although 70 degrees water is no comparison, but it's no more to compare, it's just to check bitterness thresholds here. And I will already warm up the water even more, because I will do a second one at even higher temperature to see what really comes out of it. Yeah. So far we had two nice teas, yeah, a gyokuro and a sencha, both from Uji, so they have a certain bitterness and less sweetness than other places in China, but also a much richer experience, in my opinion. And I would say the sencha didn't disappoint you, right?
It didn't, no.
No. But you noticed the difference with the gyokuro?
Yes, yes.
Are you sure?
I mean, I like both.
All right. Yeah, let's see if you like this the bancha thing.
Because which one would be your preferred one between the two we had so far?
Well, the fact is that if preparing that way, I would definitely prefer the first one.
Okay.
So if I do a shot like an espresso coffee, then I really like that thick, mineral, full taste. For me, the sencha, I would rather prepare it in a larger kyusu, a larger teapot, and more of a pleasant but quantity brew in a way. Where gyokuro, I really like when it is dense and concentrated. Yeah, like drops of gyokuro, really. So here we have the bancha. I even have less water than before. It seems that I don't think I put less water. It seems that the leaves absorb more and they're releasing less now. The color is very oily. And while you had a sip of that, I go with the 90 degrees bancha here. See, the leaves are also broken up much more. And the color is really, yeah, not so inviting actually. If you compare with the other one that we had here, it's a completely different color. Well, while this steep here you get with your bancha shot. I don't know if I want to drink this.
Ooh.
It smells good.
But very different than the ones before. Oh wow.
Oh.
That's Where did you get this tea from again?
Look, I
You
got
got goosebumps. No, I don't. I don't.
I did. Wow. Whoa. Well, how would you describe it?
But it has there is a fishy taste to it, no? Okay, I mean it's bad, but it's not that bad.
I find it really bad. Whoa.
Yeah, it's not
it's
pleasant.
so bitter that it's even spicy.
Mm. I find it has a fishy taste somehow.
And level of bitterness?
Well, quite high.
But you still drank it up without... So let's see if we can get Anja's goosebumps. That would be a challenge. So we open now the goosebumps chapter.
Yeah, I can take one more.
Let's I want to wait a bit longer just to...
To really...
Yeah. And this actually, we should drink it as well. It's darker than oil. It reminds me very much the color of extra virgin oil. Very much. In fact, if I would look this, you know, just maybe in a different container, I would first think it's oil. Look at this. It's really... Also the texture is kind of oily.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, just not pleasant. And it has this fishy taste.
Yes.
Is the opposite of freshness.
It's like fried somehow, fried fish.
Fried fish. Yeah. All right.
No, I'm not going to finish that one.
So here we have. So I hope, although it was a little bit of a combined video, I hope we were able to convey a little bit what's umami and how to look at it and how not to look at it. Don't search for a specific taste. Search for depth. Also, I hope we were able to convey how the taste of Japanese tea evolves from gyokuro to high-grade sencha to bancha. And also how you shouldn't brew bancha. You should brew it with way more water and less leaves. And also we found out that certainly the bitterness level of Anja are different than mine, but she might also have a threshold.
To be continued.
To be continued. So subscribe to watch the next video and give us a like if you enjoyed this one. And by the way, let us know in the comments below, what do you think about umami? How do you describe it for yourself? And whether you have any favorite between gyokuro and sencha. Are you more a umami person or a bitter person?